Political panel time. Let me introduce them to you. Democratic strategist Matt Bennett, Republican strategist Maura Gillespie. Matt, I want to talk to you about Georgia 14. We have an iron rule on this program. If I tease it before we go to break, I talk about it right away. So it's special election, huge crowded Republican field. I think 17 or so. Trump has endorsed one. Democrats are playing around there a little bit. What's your advice?
Stay out, do not send money, go somewhere else.
Why?
Because we've wasted so much money in that district. I mean, that is a Trump
Georgia
district.
14th, it's like plus 20 are Republican.
Yeah. I mean, and Democrats love to fantasize about beating people like, well, at least the person formerly known as Marjorie Taylor Greene before her conversion. But and we wasted so much money, and most of it online, people in good faith really wanting to go after the loudest voices on the right. It is not a good idea. There are lots of races we can win in 2026. This is not one of them.
Let me talk to you about Texas real quick, because would you put that in the category previously of wasting money?
Yeah.
What about this time?
Very hard to know, but I am of the fool's gold. I need to be persuaded that Tallarico can do it. He's a very strong candidate. He's going to run a great campaign. He has a shot. Beto got within 3 points of beating Cruz.
In 2018.
Yeah. Depends on who the Republicans nominate, and it depends on how bad things get. If things get really bad in the economy over the course of the next few months, Texas might be in play.
Maura, your thoughts on Georgia 14, which is Marjorie Taylor Greene's district, the power of a Trump endorsement, and any thoughts you might have on Texas?
Curious what role, if any, Marjorie Taylor Greene wants to play in this.
She hasn't said anything.
She hasn't. And so I'm kind of keeping an eye out for that. Does she go with who Trump has supported? Though she's been so vocal about how Trump is no longer this, America First person that he purports to be, but she really is harping on that. So curious where she lies after this goes to the runoff, which we expect it to. And then for Texas, I think it's hard, to Matt's point about how much they're going to go after each other. Cornyn's team has already said, we haven't even scratched the surface about what we're going to unleash on
Ken Paxton, the sitting attorney general, who said many, many investigations and impeachment process, lots of scandal, personal and otherwise.
Yes, he's a walk-in conflict for, I think, the entire Texas, conservative values.
And Trump has still not endorsed.
Because he likes Ken Paxton, because Ken Paxton bows down to him, and I think Cornyn hasn't done enough of that to really get Trump to play ball, essentially. But I think that the amount of money that's being spent and has already been spent on that primary alone, not only is it egregious, but it takes away from other races that the NRSC and the Republican Party at large needs to be focused on. But it's an exorbitant amount of money to spend on a primary race.
$70 million.
But when you're also coupling that with an affordability message and a campaign talking about how you're trying to make life here in America more affordable, you're running on a campaign that says Republicans were elected because of their economic principles. And then you're spending
Matt, let me talk to you about what do you think this instance of delays at airports is going to have? What practical effect is it going to have on Congress? Because everyone can see that, everyone can fear it. And when you get a notice, if you go to, I saw it online today, Hobby Airport saying if you have a domestic flight, arrive 3 hours ahead of time. If you're flying internationally, 4 hours ahead of time. This is going to pressurize the situation, it feels like to me.
It really is. And look, also, it's the human beings who are having to work without pay.
Right. That's why these lines are long, because they're not there, because they have to take care of other things, because they can't afford not to be home doing other stuff.
Who can blame them? They got to drive Ubers and stuff to make their rent. It's going to put a lot of pressure on Democrats in Congress. I think there is a deal to be had. We're not going to get everything we're asking for. We should.
As Democrats.
As Democrats. I mean, I firmly believe that all of the things Democrats are demanding about changes to the way ICE is conducting itself are reasonable. But I think with this president, we're just not going to get it.
Maura?
You also think
do you think this puts any pressure on the White House?
Well, unfortunately, the president isn't impacted by travel delays or having to get to the airport early.
Not personally.
Or filling up his gas tank. These are things that don't impact him in terms of oil costs, because you also think about that. United's CEO came out and said, I'm going to raise prices based on what's happening in Iran. So you couple that with the TSA delays. Houston Airport also said 4 to 6 hours to get there.
Yeah.
So
you're even more updated than I am. Most everyone is, ladies and gentlemen.
But I think about that, and yes, it doesn't impact Trump or his orbit. So does it move him? I don't know. I think if they, Susie Wiles has talked about getting him back out there on the campaign trail and going to talk to people. If they're telling him this is tough, we can't afford X, Y, Z, maybe that makes a dent.
And Kevin Kiley, California Republican, he got redistricted in a tough way, so he left the party. He's now refiled his registration as an independent. What practical effect does that have on Mike Johnson?
Well, it's interesting.
The Speaker.
You know, we have a couple independents in Congress, so it's not completely abnormal.
He just said you can't guarantee my vote anymore because I'm not in the party.
Because he's not trying to play. And what he said, I thought was interesting. He's not trying to make the left or the right happy. He's trying to make the people of his district happy because he's trying to serve them. And the politics have gotten so far away from what's impacting people that he's focused on that. Does that message resonate broader? I don't know. But I think the people he's looking to serve.
Matt, you got 30 seconds.
Would he have?
Because he's running as an independent.
Yeah, but would he have done that but for Proposition 50, which redistricted California and
which came after Texas, and it's a whole chain of events, the dominoes all over the map.
Exactly. So I think this conversion experience is happening a little late for the voters of that district.
Boy, a lot of conversions going on.
There certainly are.
Got Marjorie Taylor Greene, Kevin Kiley, Matt Bennett, stay exactly as you are. Maura, Gillespie, stay exactly as you are.